Okay, bow. Salute. If you want a mic, you can. If you want, it is still over there. Okay, you got the shotgun. Yeah.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, 3. Hey, nice shirt. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's the dragon one, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. I haven't seen it for a while, that's why. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Okay, palms in your waist. Circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Cross your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Okay, next turn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Rotations. 1, 2, and 3. Switch. 1, 2, and 3. Open up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tai Chi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 20. Switch. Flip. Switch. Stretch. Switch. 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 Middle. Chin right. Chin left. to the flip. Just go down as much as you can. Switch. Turn, flip. Keep giving flip. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Deep breathing. 1, 2. And punches. Switch. To the side. The other side. Okay, switch. Can you say this? Switch. front. Okay, back this. Switch. Horse this. 1, 2, 3, 4, punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close, no block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close, middle block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close, high block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3, close, blue block punch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close, middle block punch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close, high block punch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, close. Okay, push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. The double. We used to do double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2 in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, thrust, turn. 1, 2, 3, shake it up. Deep breath. 1, 2, and 3. kicks. Okay, front in step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Heel kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Leg kick. Waist height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, breathe in. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, continue. Straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, roundhouse to the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. Okay, next one. Last one. Roundhouse to the hand. 45 degrees. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Keep breathing. 1, 2, and 3. Get a quick drink. Ready? Let's move. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Step up. Remove. Punch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Chop. Uppercut. Close. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. And close. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Up it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Stop. And big. 1, 2. And first one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, high block, low block, six, ready, step back, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, step, remove, elbow, backwards, palm, high block, like that, press, driving in, backwards, remove, punch, step, 1, 2, press, palm, scoop, press, kick, punch, dragon, lock, move, breathe, 1, 2, 3, 7, ready, go, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, kick, press, punch, step, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, scoop, press, kick, switch, chop, leg kick, finish that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, kick, press, chop, leg kick, finish that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay. 1, 2, and Bummer, perfect. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, step 2, punch, grab, pull, elbow, back twist, thrust, pull, high block, scoop. 1, 2, 3, 1. One, two, three, 1, One, two, three, one, two, one, two, up. Press one, two, three, turn, one, two, three, close, one, two, three, punch, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, one, two, three, drop, one, two, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three, up, remove one, two, three, one, two, step, two, one, two, blow, one, two, scoop, upper, remove, one, two, step, scoop, upper, remove, one, two, one, two, one, one, two, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three, corner backwards, one, remove, up, straight down, backwards, cut again, palm, turn, palm, step up, backwards, bypass, one, two, one, two, three, one, two, one, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, where you can go. That's where you live.
Did you practice?
I don't know, I'm asking you. I was not
No,
here.
no, I just, I like that exercise.
One, two, press, turn, four, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, seven, close, one, two, three, one, two, one, two, look back, one, two, three, grab, one, two, three, one, two, one, two, three, one, two, chop, bit rock, elbow, press, triangle, press, 1, 2, 3, flex, 1, 2, trap, bit rock, 1, 2, 3, 4, chop, 1, pivot, canter, palm, elbow, thrust, canter, 1, 2, 3, step, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, cross, behind, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, thrust, open, press, 1, 2, 3, step, 1, 2, 3, step, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, double, roll, back, butterfly, that's 1, 2, quick body, come back. Hey, footwork. Kunji footwork. So second half. Second half. Second half.
Second half.
Yes.
I heard that.
Oh, you want to take a nap? Okay, ready. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, press, thrust, cross step, spin. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, Do the drills or want to do the drills? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you do each side. Again, step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. 2 corners, 2 sides, 1 front. Start with your 2 from your right side first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Side, side, left, right, side, forward, left, right, left, right, forward, right, left, right, left, forward. Thank you. Good luck. That's reverse. Get it.
So, drills are good for, because we're creatures of habit. We just have to do it over and over again to try to get the body to recognize. We were just talking about that in the other room. Why do people have a little bit of trouble getting that same position? Because the body doesn't really know. What the body knows is what you tell it. And if you're telling it the wrong information, then it can't figure it out. But what's the right information? The right information is the alignment of your body, the structural integrity of your position. So that's really the geometry. One of the things that I focus a lot about is geometry and synchronization. Not a lot of teachers teach this way because they don't think this way. But part of it is because in the traditional arts they do talk about geometry position, but they don't get in depth with it. But because we have hundreds of transitions and hundreds of different postures, you have to define each one. So basically follow a category of movement. So the corner back, we have these, but it takes a long time for your body to recognize it by itself, because part of it is functionality. When you do something over and over again that's functional, then eventually you learn through trial and error. That's what ends up happening. But if it's not tangible, how can you figure it out? If you're not really blocking something and realize that that's not the most efficient way, the effective way, then you're just guessing. So that's why it's, so when we do forms, it's kind of this virtual thing. You go through it, it's virtual and it's not tangible until your body experiences it. So that was actually a conversation I had with someone recently about techniques. I don't actually apply this stuff much at all, really, right? I just teach. So how do you stay kind of sharp with it, the timing and feeling of a block and so forth? It's because I've done it so long and my body recognizes it. Without the tangible part of it is already in the feeling. So when you develop a tangible experience, it's from how it feels. It's like, just doing this, right, or making a circle. Now, if you're wiping a table, that fine example is that movie, Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, clean. That's really what happens. When you wipe a table or you move something or even sand a piece of wood, you have to decide how much pressure you need, how much force you need. It's a feeling, and you develop a feeling over time. And most people, when they do something that's physical, end up being a little bit using too much. And then you have to, and like if you were working with a piece of furniture and you rub too hard and you damage it, you would know that you made a mistake. So that's how we learn. We learn through mistakes.
Can I go back to the exercise?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So I know what the arc from here to here is.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I actually just realized I don't actually know what the arc from here. Do you go through the same position?
Yeah, so
You just do it slowly?
So we have a basic unit, right? So this is, when we're here, and we're here, and we're here, and we're here, we set up this to get to here. And then we have to figure out from here to here to here what has to happen. So what we see from just the visuals is this to this. So the arc is this, but it's not just this to this. It's actually this to this. So because it's more than one dimension, this is this, but the thing is your arm just went like that. This is the arc as well. So you have a dimension here and you have a dimension here. So it becomes a two-dimensional movement that has to be defined between these two pieces. Now if I turn my body here, I still have to find that position before I drop my elbow. So if I'm there, I have to pass through here, here, to here. So the transition becomes much more complicated because my hand is here. I have to drop this elbow, but it's not in position to do it because I'm looking for that point there. So when I adjust my leg and I end up doing this, I have to create at some point the position that you learn from here. So between this, this, and this is what is calculated up in here based on your experience. So when you're in a time movement, it goes like that and it has to be there because of what you've programmed into your systems. So we are really programming this muscle memory into the body, and what that does is regulate how much tension each motion is, because the little muscle fibers really make these contractions that cycle through to create that event. So when you're here, that, from here, this, now I won't know my body. When the hand comes to here, it has to come to here and then there. But it goes through in one motion. That's what's pretty amazing, that you're able to learn that and capture that over time. But it does take time. It's really a function of time. Because you can't go from not knowing it to knowing it without it's going through this process. It has to decipher. It has to go through this rewiring, and
There's a much more linear interval before it.
yeah. Well, actually, everything is moving from a joint. So, what appears to be linear is really an arc, but the arc is small. But so, if I go like this, and I go like this, that already changed my angle. So you have to compensate for everything that happens to get to where you get to. So the fact that I'm here, if I didn't turn, I would still have to do this. Right? If I didn't adjust my body, I just turn the body like this, I would have to get my hand to here before that. So the isolated movement, without moving the body, your hand has to go like this. If you turn the body, it has to do that. So there's some give and take to create that action. So the action is created because this is what you're trying to do. If your hand is here and my hand is here, I want to come to here because this is, so your target position is the final position. So I think one of the mistakes most people make when they're striking is they only think of hitting here. So you end up going like this. And then that's actually not good because you should be using this. So when you go like this, and then this is, if you want to hit here, then it becomes this because you think that that's what you're connecting with, but then it becomes too straight. So you have to actually create an arc from here and here. So there's, this side takes it back. This side takes it down. See, so there's
So if you're doing it here, you actually would hook first, so that the arc is.
yeah, so the arc is
So you're
there.
making it
Yeah,
different.
yeah. Because when you go up like that, it's just like when I do this, right? You'll see my elbows go up, goes down. So because we go up before we go down, the same thing happens when you go like this, right? You set up. Yeah, because you have to create a dimension of movement. The dimension of movement was something we were talking about earlier too. Volume. Dimensional movements have volume. You have to create the volume. Because everything that we do is kind of two-dimensional only. If I do this, it only goes back and forth. But if I turn my body, then it ends up like that. So when I turn my body from here, and I turn my hand, it becomes that. So that's a slight change of action, but it ends up still there because that's what the body has learned, that's a corner back fist. So you have the corner back fist here, you have the corner back fist in that set of drills. You have the corner back fist when you do the iron wire form. You have the corner, you have this which is lifting up, but when you go like this, you have the corner back fist again. So it happens a lot in what we do. So, but if you're doing it a lot, you don't want to be doing it wrong every time, because then the body is confused because it worked there, okay, why is it not right here? But they should be the same. It's the same position. So the consistency of that movement becomes skill. That's what, yeah. So I'm sure that applies to, your students as musicians too. Why is it not good today and yesterday was good? Well, it could be a number of things, but maybe you don't feel as good. It's sort of like being, in the zone. When they talk about athletes being in the zone, when they're in the zone, they're scoring, everything is very precise. They can't miss. But what throws off that zone is because the mind might be cluttered. And there might be something causing a discrepancy in the body. Well, maybe the body's not moving the way it is when it's in the zone. So our body does the same thing. So some days it might be there, some days, but over time, there's more consistency. So the consistency happens more often. So, yeah, so that's why we have to drill. And drills really do that. So, you can do it. So you can go through it again. Yeah. 1, 2.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, and then go 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, good. Shake it out. So we focus on the corner back fist. What about the middle block, right? What does the middle block actually do? Because you know what, if we're doing a movement in space, we actually have to have that phasing in the movement. So while we always talk about vertical and horizontal, we also have the oblique, right? The slant. So we look at the slant as cross, right? So if I cross my hands, I'm like this, right? So from the cross hand position, I can also go like that. Right? When I go like this, I have a cross hand, like this cross. So we cross like this, and we cross like this. Okay, so that's, we can see that. So when we cross the position, I turn my hand like this. That's sort of where you have to intercept the punch. You don't intercept the punch here. It's too late. You don't want to go like this, because blocking like this is one dimension, right? You really have to block like this, like if he punches. You really have to block it here on the way up. Because when you block it here and I turn, that's how you create the next line of movement. So what has to happen, because we're trying to add dimension to movement, we have to sink the elbow. So if I go like this and I sink my elbow, I created the efficiency of the movement. So we talk about gravity, I just have to drop my elbow, because from here to here turns the vertical. From here to here turns to slant again. But from here to here to here creates the high block. So when we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, becomes the phase in the movement. So the basic motion is here. Then if I turn my body, it gets to here. But I didn't turn and push. I dropped. So what happens when you sink, it allows you to rise. See? So that's how you absorb, deflect, and right. So when you do the form, 1, 2. So that's what you see happening. 1, right, sink and turn, and then lift. So the dimension of movement becomes multi-dimensional, but it also creates the effective action in the motion. Because when you block, if he punches, when you block and his force, he actually wants to go that way. But you don't allow it to go that way. You allow it to go this way, and that causes him, while he's going down, now you're lifting, and he feels like he went like that. And that's when you have to do that. So that's the sort of the strategy of the motion when you're doing it. But that's taking a middle block and showing how to make it most effective rather than just block. Because what is a block? A block is a stop. So when a force comes, you can stop it, or you can be efficient, deflect it, and then capitalize on the force that you deflected by using his force or your opponent's energy. So that's really the strategy of borrowing strength. They have a term called borrowing strength. What do you borrow from? You borrow from your opponent. So that's conserving your own energy. So it's kind of interesting if you think along these lines. So this movement and this is really the same thing. The first line of here is this. This is going to come across like this. And then it takes it down. See? So it's like this.
So we need to build these movements into the drill. Just move here to the right drill. You're saying, I can't do it now. There's a block, and then is there a punch and a lift at the same time?
The lift comes from the body. You don't actually lift the arm. Yeah. But you don't, so lifting is not this. Not here.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you're lifting is your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you have a back that goes up, you have a back that goes down. That's sinking, right? So your body is really pieces. You're making up these movements by the pieces of your body. Because we don't, normally don't have a lot of control of our body, the components of our body. So that's why studying martial arts, or for kids, or at any age, but for kids especially, it really helps them build tremendous connections up in here. You actually get smarter because you're using the same apparatus, but if you don't have some way of developing that on that level, your brain, is not wired the same. So like when they do the studies and they have kids doing exercises in the morning and then they do some exercises in between classes, they do a lot of that in the Asian countries. They do up and they have a bunch of warm-up. They do that because even though they're doing it just as a physical exercises, they're not thinking of doing them, justice by making them smarter. But it does, because I know for a fact that you have to use the same neurons and the same wiring to do that. So what do you get when you start to learn, form, and understanding and decipher them? You develop analytical skills. So you use the same brain to analyze anything. So I use this same brain to do a lot of things. Doesn't mean that I can do a lot of them very well, but the thing is, I still use it to analyze problems and solve problems, and I use it to build things and from the same process. You figure it out, and sensitivity and feel, and how do you use your body when you're using like a tool or something. So that's why I actually like to use my hands a lot. I'm very physical on that side of it because I get experience from that. So everybody is different, but you can still build a certain amount of intelligence. So the people that like this, what kind of people like studying martial arts? Typically, artists, mathematicians, musicians, statistics, thinkers, people that actually do a lot of deep thinking, math, accounting, people that are kind of structured, that think like that, actually like this, because we need to stimulate the brain somehow. But movement is actually a pretty amazing thing. So that's why I teach it like this, It's just because otherwise, to me, it's pretty, it would be pretty boring just thinking that you just run through movements, but it's actually deeper than that. So but it's tied to physiology too. That's why I look at that stuff. So when we're here, the stepping, if you're creating an arc, if you're like this, when we do this, right, do it again, right, next movement, one, yeah, right, again, right, next, this, go, right. So you see your legs create energy in the movement too, right? So when I step to here, you go into a stance, right? Yeah, can you stand? When I step to here and I go like this, that's, you feel the force, right? It becomes a force. Yeah, so that, when you go like this, your leg goes boom. You see this creates a force in a direction. It's not just going into your stance. You don't have the stance here, boom. There's your power in the stance, right? When you go, it goes here, pop, boom. Right? You move into your opponent, you're here, there, and it comes here, pop. Just the turn is like that. Yeah, because you turned into it, right? So you, boom, then now you have strength in your leg, right? So you can feel. So that's the power in the leg. So when you turn into the leg, you not only turn in like this, you're also going like this. Yeah, so you have force going in that direction too. Yeah. So the momentum that goes here and here is just like here and here. So then it has two dimensions, this way and this way. Right? Boom. So then when you turn, right? So that pa, the leg is pa, pa. Chin, that's that. Yeah. The chin here like this. You go hit, pa, right? You're here, here. Yeah. So that's your leg work. So your legs have the same ability to do that. So that's why we have strength in our leg. It goes the other way too, because when we go like this, the leg goes like this. Pop. Right? Now you're there, yeah. Pop. It's kind of interesting. That's body control that you try to develop. You know? So then you can make it powerful, you make it gentle. Then you time. So as your body becomes more astute, then you start to use less strength in the arms. You can just channel the direction of the movement, and then it gets softer. So when we do this, it's just turn. So don't forget to turn. Right? Yeah. 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 So when we go like this is 45 degrees, right? And then when we're here sinking, and then it turns. So there's your turn.
From here, I'm going to pull in first and then turn down.
To the corner one or to the middle one?
To the corner.
Yeah. So
So we're turning in this corner, right?
if you're in this corner, you just drop your elbow to here. Then you start to turn, and then this moves, and then it goes there. So you're here.
Oh, I meant to come to here.
Oh, here? Then you'd have to come down here. Like, come down here, and then
So from here, you drop your
come here, you sink. Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're here, when we step, your body's going to start to go. Because your body's there, it has to come back to horse. So the summation of this elbow and that knee, that's the relationship, right? The elbow and the knee go together. But because we're going like this, and we slant like this, there's your diagonal. See? So the fact that it goes like this, I'm already redirecting the force here. So it comes like this, and then this hand turns. Right? And then it ends up like this. So here, sink, rise. Sink. So this sinking becomes part of that motion. Because my hand is here, right? And then your punch comes here. It's coming in here. Sink. So sink. And then it's vertical.
Can you do it once more?
Sink.
I see.
So it's obviously it has to be targeting your arm too. In the form, you're just doing the most natural thing in your motion, but in application you have to intercept. You have to intercept at the forearm. So that's what in Hung Gar we call bridges. When we do this, 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 that's working your bridges. Because in iron wire, it's called the 12 bridges of Hung Gar. You know, there's many more than 12 bridges, but the 12 bridges essentially are utilizing principle of that movement. You have a big, you have a straight movement, you have an elbow movement, you have a rising movement, you have a sinking movement. So that's really strategy and motion. You know, you have big, which is really staying close. You have lifting, which is tied, right? You have short, straight movements, right? Jet. You have separating movements. So these are just, what are you doing with your bridge? When you separate, when you thrust, when you sink, when you pick. Those are, you know, movements from movements. If my hand is here like in Hung Gar, what are we doing here? When we go like this, right? Then we go like this. What are we doing? We're sinking, lifting, and coming down. So you're really doing this. My hand is here, I'm sinking, I'm lifting, I'm pulling. So the action really is this. Because you have to go up to go down. Yeah? Right? You have to move right to move left. Right? You go forward to go backward. You move this way and then you go this way. So in Tai Chi, the principle is that you move right to move left, left to move right. You gaze right, move left, left. Yeah. So those are strategies. When we go down, then we lift. We lift up, then we go down. Right? It's just, but you're directing and channeling the move based on your body form. So when we sink, we round, hollow. Big is close. So big is when you're moving in on an opponent, so you're like in an elevator, and everybody squeezes into the elevator. That's like picking, you know. So when you're moving in to your opponent, that's like going in a tight, congested position. So that's close in. So that's a big. But this is called, the same structure is called Ying, or thrusting. So this movement is like this movement. You're thrusting. Yeah. So you use gravity to sink. You use body to turn. Yeah. So everything that we're doing is creating the best force we can with our body. So what controls that is our mind, the mind intent. How do we, so they call it recruiting the correct muscles, right? In sports science, they say you have to recruit the muscles, and that's what we do. We're using a mind intent to, just let it happen. So you think it and it happens. So that's the mind over matter. You know, because that's why they say the mind is very powerful. We go through this process in form, and it just becomes, wired into our system, and we just comes automatic. Reflex. If you think about, one of the reflexes we have is detecting hot or cold. And it happens so fast that if it's, that's how hopefully you don't get burned if it's hot. But you can trick someone to respond. They don't know it's hot or cold. You tell them it's really hot and you hit them with an ice cube, they still respond the same way, right? So when you respond with that reflex, because you detected, but you had to know at some point that it could hurt you, right? Like an infant wouldn't know that. So that's a learned thing. But that reflex action becomes a response. And a reflex action doesn't go through the brain, it just goes through your spine. So you train the movements here, and then it goes into reflex movement, and it just becomes something that, so you don't need the brain after it's learned it. It becomes part of that reflex sensitivity action. So you want to go through the black tiger movements, cover and pick. right? So if you were doing a cover and a big turn, cover and a big cover and a black tiger, you notice that they go hand in hand, right? Cover and big, cover and a big, cover and black tiger, cover and black tiger would be this movement. So, yeah, cover and big, yeah, cover and big. Yeah, cover. So, one of the things, okay, yeah, do a big, everybody do a series of bigs on your own. Yeah, just keep going through the cycle. Yeah, go. Okay, so just as, so you will know that a big is this and it's vertical, right? Then you have to set up the big. So all elbow strikes, you don't want to do that. You see how this gets to here to create that surface? The action comes from here, right? And then this folds to here. So the efficiency of the movement, when you cover, you should set your elbow up here, and then it comes in like that. In other words, you can set up your elbow in the horizontal position before it goes to vertical. Because if you wait till it's almost vertical and you do that, then it ends up like that. So you want to set up your elbow earlier. And when you set up your elbow, set it up as efficiency in between the movement, right? So while we learn like this, 1, 2, 3, that's learning it. When you go 1, then have that happen automatically as part of the phase of movement. Then you can, all you do is have to set your waist up, and then it becomes efficient. Yeah, yeah. So it's timing. You know, as we build like this motor skill, we also have to build timing and movement. So when this covers, this already is doing this. So what else do you have to do when you cover, right? You cover and then you big, right? Yeah, and you big. So you set this elbow up to big. So added to that, cover again, cover, yeah, and big, right? So in addition to setting this up so that it's horizontal, right, you have to turn your body. Right? You turn your body because you're winding up your body to do that. So your body, the twist, new yo. You have to wind your body up to do that. How long does it take? The body doesn't know what to do. So you have to build that into your movement. So your body is actually doing a lot of this twisting and turning a lot of times. When we go like this, we twist. When we go like this, we twist. That's utilizing it. Because when you go this way or this way, you have a twisting of the spine. So your back will turn. Right? So when you go like this, that's when you're moving your this.
Do you make that adjustment after you've already covered, because where you're doing it while you're covering?
So it becomes part of unification of your movement. So this can do that, this can do that, this can do that. They're all separate because they're all pieces. So when you cover, it should happen. If you're going down, your body has to create the structure integrity for that. When you're lifting, then the body on this side will have to take, so everything starts to become part of your body. Your body has to become the core unit. So the movements will come from your body. So it's not really your arm. So that's another phase of getting your body to work. But this is just sort of information because the body doesn't know it yet. You have to go through a process. Once you go through the process, and everyone is different, you have to go through a learning curve, and then when you learn, so all the twisting that we do, the opening, in the IOY form, you have all the twisting, right? You have the up and down, right? So when you have up and down here, then you're going to have your body working like that. Right? Then when you go like this, that you move. So you move this area, not a lot, there's a, it could be a lot of fat, or it could be a lot of, but not a lot of muscle in those areas. Not a lot of muscle in there is because, so there's not a lot of muscle, there's a lot of connective tissue. A lot of connective tissue in these areas. So I mean, it's just, sometimes there's a layer of protection there, which is really it's really a survival thing. Fat in the body is really a survival thing. You need it in case, there's a famine and you don't get to eat, you have storage. They said someone that's sort of obese could walk across the country without eating. That's how much storage there is that because it's the subcutaneous fat is really, stored for usage. But in modern day, we don't really need that much storage, mainly because we have supermarkets. Back in the day, you needed to have all that storage because you don't know when your next meal is going to be. So but some people eat like it's going to end tomorrow, right? So that's why it's bad. That's what a modern society is, because you have affluence and you can buy all this stuff. But then you realize that it could be hazardous to your health, right? But it's because you're eating the wrong stuff. So if you move these areas, and why exercise is good to help do that is because it works your metabolism. Your metabolism needs to be working because it's using energy, and your energy, I mean, everybody's slightly different anyways, but you can control your metabolism better if you're exercising. So that's why when we exercise, when we breathe and we lift and we sing, we're actually working the innards too. Because when you breathe and you're doing diaphragmatic breathing, all this up and down is actually working your intestines too. And your intestines are the area that actually a lot of the exchange of the nutrients is there in the small intestine. But you have to eat it, it goes into your stomach. So all this stuff, happens as a course of just doing some of the simple things that we do. So.
What is the difference in position
Of the black tiger?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the pig and in the black tiger. What's the difference?
The difference? Okay, so that's so when you cover, right, and you bick, it's like this. Bick, when you cover here, this hand actually comes across like this. So this is actually open. It's not, and the hand is doing this. Bick is like this. So that can say goes up. The black tiger is here. See, comes around like this. It comes across like this. So if his hand came, it would come this way, like that. So it comes in this way, like this. Yeah. Typically, you're using it against this one, and he has this leg forward. You're coming in like this, or like this. So this comes here, and it can go to the leg. So it's really coming in like this, or like this. So the hand, it's turning this way, and it crosses. So this position, if you turn the hands, ends up like this. So it's more like your uppercut. Yeah. So your hand. Yeah. It doesn't come like this, because you can't, it comes this way. So you're covering and it comes this way. See? And you notice the lower hand is curved, then it straightens out like this. Because when it's curved like this, then it's in your way. Right, so you have to straighten it like this. Yeah. So when you straighten it, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then this hand turns here. Yeah. And then your shoulder, yeah, like that. So then you create that force like that. Yeah. Yeah. So it has that look. So this is closer than this. Yeah.
So Seafood, would you always be, if there was a punch coming at you, it would always be on this side of you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is,
All right.
they're not in,
No, it's moving this way.
it's both?
Yeah, it's moving that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're turning like this.
Okay, but if you wanted, you would maybe come on top? Is that what you did? I think I saw
Yeah.
you do that.
I'm coming on top,
Oh,
and then this is here. See? Yeah.
so if there was an arm here, it would be
Yeah.
like this, and then here.
Yeah.
I get it.
And sometimes
Sorry.
sometimes this technique is used to go here
Oh,
into the knee.
oh my, okay.
Yeah.
So it's really,
Yeah. So you low like that,
Yeah.
right into the knee.
I see.
Yeah. So that's why it straightens out and it's longer. But it depends how deep your stance is. If you go low, then you go toward the knee too. Yeah. It's just, yeah. So you're coming in, see, then you come in there. This is to go behind too. Yeah. So my teacher used to say, when you go in, you don't have to actually, it's called eat the stance. You just go in, just go toward the chest, yeah. You just push your opponent away. So when you're like this, you have to use your legs too. So it's because you're so close. Once you're close, you're like that. Yeah. So you need your leg. Huh? Mudong, yeah. Yeah. So once your hand is here, you can. Oh, okay, we'll bow. Okay, ready?